The entire reason I started this channel is because I wanted people to know that manifestation doesn't have to be hard. I say it all the time, and the name of this channel is literally More Being. But still, I get people who are confused or who are asking me, yeah, okay, I get it. I get it that I just have to be this person. I just have to assume that I'm already the person, I'm already the version of myself having the thing that I want. But how do I do it? But should I do this technique? But what's the best method? But does this actually work? But this other person said I need to do this, this, and that. But if I do it this way, is it still gonna work? So many questions, which are valid. This is an open place for discussion. This is an open place to speak your mind. This is an open place to look at things and rearrange and explore and evolve in the ways that feel good to you. But when it starts to not feel good to you, when it starts to be a disservice to you, when it starts to be more of a burden on you than it is a freedom, that's when we have to come back to the basics. That's when we have to come back to the understanding that it truly is all about being. And you've been being since forever. You've always been, you always will be. And that's just the nature of existence. Things that exist just exist. And really all the options are available except the option of non-existence. So because you are here, because you are being, you're already enough. You've already done the things. And from knowing that and from being that, you get to be the chooser, you get to be the decider of what happens next and of who you're gonna assume yourself to be next. And it really does get to be that simple. But I understand that we like to overcomplicate things and we build up stories in our minds and things get a little bit hectic, especially if you're an overthinker or if you've been at this for a long time and you're just still trying to understand why things aren't clicking. So today we're gonna dive into what less trying and more being actually means. I'm so excited for today's topic. I feel like it is so fundamental to your understanding of the nature of reality, your relationship with the way that you're creating or choosing your path, and how you really do get to be the one who's in control of your life. You get to take back the reins because they always were rightfully yours. But sometimes we forget, and that's okay. That's why I'm here to remind you. But before we get started, I'd like to thank Ana Luisa for partnering with me on this video. Ana Luisa makes affordable and long-lasting jewelry that will elevate your everyday style, no matter if you're a little bit more of a bold girly or you like things more simple and dainty, whether you like gold or silver, they have a little bit of something for everyone. So many options, so much variety for such a good price, and they have staple pieces that you're gonna be able to have for a really long time. They're tarnish resistant, they wear beautifully every day. All of the jewelry I have on right now is from Ana Luisa, and you can probably tell I'm definitely a silver girl. I just want you to see how the jewelry wears so well together. Even though I'm trying to tone things down a bit, I love jewelry. I love amazing staple pieces that can elevate any outfit. Most of the outfits I wear are pretty basic. Usually I'm in a neutral color and I'm not doing too much with my outfit, but what elevates it for me is obviously the makeup, the hair, within the jewelry. Even if I don't have my hair and makeup all the way on 10, if I throw some good jewelry on, I know it's gonna be a good fit day. So what I love about these necklaces in particular is that they're adjustable. So it's pretty much like for every necklace you have, you get 3 necklaces. There's 3 different size adjustments you can make. So if you like to stack your jewelry, if you want them to lay a certain way, depending on what kind of shirt you're wearing, you can adjust it. Because it's so frustrating to me when I like pick up my jewelry, I've got a good stack going, I'm like, okay, these pieces are gonna go so nicely together. And then I put on my shirt and it's like the collar doesn't lay nicely with the way that I want the jewelry to hang, and it's just frustrating. It's first world problems for sure, but it's something that I want out of my jewelry. I want it to look nice. I want it to be versatile. I want it to be wearable for every day. And that's definitely the experience I've had with Ana Luisa every single time that I've gotten jewelry from them. The quality is so great. It makes a great gift for anyone else or just a little treat for yourself. And you can shop guilt-free knowing that Ana Luisa is climate neutral certified, which means that they offset 100% of their carbon emissions. So they're giving you pieces that are in style, they're so affordable, and they ship fast to you. I truly can't overstate the quality of this jewelry, especially for the price point, because I have to go get the packaging so I can just show you how high quality it is. So all the jewelry purchased from them is going to come with a cute little monogram dust bag. Beautiful. Obviously you can use to store your jewelry or for other things. I mean, literally, what? Starting at $39. Are you kidding? You can just throw your jewelry in here, throw it in your purse, and your jewelry is protected, lasts you a long time, and you know where it is, because if you're like me, you tend to lose things. So that's lovely to have. If all that wasn't good enough, I have an extra treat for you. You can use the link in the description box to get up to 30% off on your purchase. It's the perfect time. The holidays are coming. Maybe a little hint for a special person in your life who might need a gift idea for you, or maybe you need a gift for somebody else. But if you're in the US, you've got easy, fast, free shipping, and you also have a 2-year warranty on your jewelry. Even though it's humidity tested and tarnish resistant, and even though it's strength tested, if something does go wrong with your jewelry and you need a replacement, no worries, their support team can help you out and get you sorted. Seriously, the quality of this jewelry is unmatched for the price, and it's such an amazing steal. So if you're interested in checking them out, there's a link in the description box. You can follow that link and get your jewelry up to 30% off with their November sale. And again, thank you to Ana Luisa. All right, so let's dive in. So when I say more being, the thing that I don't want to imply is that you need to be anything more than you already are. When I say more being, it is a recognition of what's already there. It's a recognition of that ultimate self-concept, which is I am. So when you say I am, that is an embodiment, that is an already being, that is a happening now, present tense. When you're trying towards something, when you're working to make something happen, when you're waiting on something, when you feel separated from something, that is a level of being separated from your desire. Which your desires can't be separate from you, because everything is from within you. Everything that you want, everything you ever could want, everything you'll ever perceive, experience, all of those things come from within you. It's first your job to be it, and then you see it. And you may say, how can I be something that I've never been before? How can I see something that I've never seen before, that I'm not seeing right now in my 3D? That's where techniques come in. Techniques are there to help you as a tool in order to saturate you in your wish fulfilled, in order to get you more comfortable and more natural in being in that state and being embodied in the version of yourself who has the things that you desire. But when we start turning techniques into a thing that has to be done, into a requirement, into an extra workload that you're putting on yourself in order to make something happen, when it feels like an obligation to you and you're forcing yourself to do something to an end, that's when the process has shifted from you being something to you trying to be something. So there's a difference between somebody who already is and somebody who aspires to be. There's a difference between looking at your desire or thinking about your desire instead of thinking from your desire, from already being the person living that experience. The most natural thing to you is your existence. It's your thought patterns, it's your habits, it's the way that you embody and express yourself and your life and your essence and who you see yourself as. Your identity is all the culmination of all those things, right? So when you say, I'm going to assume the identity of being this person already, I'm just going to assume it, I'm going to take it for granted, that means that there's no longer an implication of work to be done. There's no longer a list of requirements that you need to fulfill. It becomes more of a focus on recognizing and accepting what already is within you innately and allowing that thing to come in and be a part of your experience, rather than blocking it and seeing it as something that's separate from you, but yet something that you're striving towards. So it's really frustrating to be in a state of mind where you see something and you want something and you're longing for something, but you're still not seeing yourself as the person who can have it. So simultaneously, you're forcing it in your brain, trying to think a bunch of thoughts or affirm, or visualize over and over again and saturate yourself in the image of this person, but you're not seeing yourself as this person. It's like you're watching the movie, but you're not the actor inside of the movie. You're looking at it from an outside perspective, like it's not you, like you're not the cause of everything that's happening. But when you understand that it's you who assumes the state, you who embodies the state first, and then it's outpictured into your reality, it becomes a lot easier to start thinking, okay, if I was this person, how would I be? Beingness is not something that has to be explained to you. You're being something right now. It's not something you have to strive towards. It's something that you choose. You choose to be a certain way, whether you have a habit of being a certain way, so it's made that the path of least resistance and that feels easiest to you to be that way. Being that way is not something that's concrete. It's not something that's stuck in stone. It's just something that's been practiced. And in order to switch to a new way of being, it's not something that has to be repeated over and over again in a way that's vain or in a way that's forceful or in a way that is efforting towards something. It is a continual reminder if you forget, but it's not and I have to do this thing so I can remember to be this person, or I have to do this thing so that I can become this person. It is, I do this because I already am this person. I can remind myself that I'm this person. I can solidify myself in being this person, but really my only job is to be. My only job is to exist and know that this is done, to accept the awareness and to hold the conviction that this is my reality, this is my truth, and that me already being it is the thing that materializes it. So it's not a matter of how much I do. It's not a matter of even the way that I choose to be or how I choose to be it, or whether my being something looks different than somebody else being the same thing, or whether we got there in the same way or in the same time. It's not about that. It's about recognition. Always about looking within and seeing that that aspect of yourself that you're desiring already exists. So you are the one who gives it to yourself by the recognition of it, by seeing it that way already, by knowing that if in the past you've seen it a different way and it's not a way that's favorable to you and it doesn't feel good to you anymore, it's not serving you, then you can choose to see it differently right now in this moment. And it's not a thing of like, okay, I see that this is possible for me to be this person, and I'm just going to continue to look at the possibility and hope for the possibility that I can change, or that things can be different, or that things will change if I do enough, or if I try enough, or if I do things in the right way. I see this as a possibility, and I accept this possibility as the current state of affairs. I see this thing as me already. I feel connected to this thing already. I accept and allow this thing into my reality already. And just because I don't see it on the outside does not mean that I'm not already it internally. You are the validation. You are the evidence. You give that to yourself through who you say you are, through who you're embodied, your state of beingness. Your existence is a constant. It's the only thing that is without fail, will always be there, and it will always be creating. So you're always being something. So if you see yourself as a past version of yourself and you see yourself stuck there but trying to become something different, then what version of yourself are you persisting in? You're persisting in a version of yourself who is not there yet, or who doesn't see it yet, or who sees it but is not fully in the allowing of it. So when you say I'm going to be open, when you say I'm receptive, when you say I can receive, when you've made space for an experience to happen to you, there's no longer a laundry list of things that need to be done. It's already done as soon as you say it's done. So it's not a process in the way that you have to think about it taking a long time, or you have to think about it being a journey, or you have to think about it being a thing that has to be done right. There's no right or wrong in beingness. You are because you are. It just is the nature of existence. It's the nature of reality, and there's nothing that can ever alter that fact. That is just a basic fact of life. You're alive, you're existing, you're here, and you're being. So from that awareness, you choose the version of yourself you're going to be, and you persist in knowing that, not persist in forcing yourself to understand that, or forcing yourself to be convinced of that, or even forcing yourself to believe anything. You don't have to believe what is. That would be like me walking around every day saying, I am Aisha. I am Aisha. I am Aisha. Trying to convince myself that I'm a person who I already know I am. So if I already know that I am this thing, and I already know that this thing is done, then there's really nothing left for me to do except the things that I want to do. So if I'm called into action in a certain way, and I feel led to do a certain technique, or to talk to a certain person, or to move in a certain way, then that's fine. But I already know that that inspired action doesn't come from me waiting for a green light, or waiting for anybody outside of me to give me a permission slip to already be. It comes from me deciding that no matter what I do, wherever I step, whatever I decide, it is going to be the right action. It is going to be right movement, and I'm going to see the results that are in line with my fulfillment, because that's what I've chosen. Because I've chosen to be the version of myself who sees that reality for myself, who knows that that is the truth of my reality, and who doesn't accept any other forms of possibilities being my truth and my reality. I can accept that those possibilities exist. I can accept that they are available for me to choose, but I have a knowingness within myself that that's not the possibility that I want to experience. And so I choose to be the version of myself knowing that I'm already in my fulfillment, and that anything outside of me that doesn't align with that or doesn't look like it's towards that end is no longer relevant to my experience. So the less that I focus on it, the less importance that I put on it, the less that I try to make it go away, and I just let it be there and let it be in that reality with that old version of myself. And I shift to the reality of knowing who I am, of being the one who's seeing things clearly in the way that I want to see them. I know that those things will fall away. So really, seeing them is not believing in them. Believing in them is believing in them. And believing in things is a choice, and it's a choice that you get to make now. It's not predicated on what happened in the past. It's not predicated on who you were before, 5 minutes ago, 5 years ago. It all gets to happen now. When I say less trying, you're not making anything happen. You're not even creating anything, because creation is finished. You are acknowledging, you are accepting, you are saying, yes, I see this possibility and I claim it as mine, and I'm going to hold the conviction of that. I'm going to stay faithful to that. I'm going to remain in the knowingness of that until it is manifested, and beyond its manifestation, until I decide to be something different, until I make a different choice. This is what it's going to be until I say something different. And that really has to be the end of the discussion, the end of the conversation. And then whatever wants to be done on top of that, whatever you feel called to do, whatever you feel led to do, should be from a good feeling place, not a place of, if I don't do this, then bad things will happen, or if I don't do this, then I can't make this happen, or I'm not capable, or I've done wrong for some reason, or I don't deserve this, I'm not worthy of this if I haven't put forth this level of work or this level of effort. Everything that you want is already given to you. There's nothing that you have to give in return for it except your energetic acknowledgement of being that thing. That is your payment, that is your currency, your energy. So if you say I am this person, you assume the knowingness of being that person, and that is what it is. There can be no other convincing, there can be no other conditions or excuses for why a thing isn't already a certain way. Once you understand that those possibilities exist and it's just your job to choose it, then it already is that way. You see it as being that way. And you see you doing techniques or you navigating the 3D reality not as a means to an end, but as your end. You are already that fulfillment. You are already that person. You are already that being, not working towards it, not looking for it, not healing so you can be this person, not figuring out the steps so that you can make this process easier, speed it up, or make your results more concrete. Your results are what they are because you say they are. Your evidence is what your evidence is because you say it is, and you are the only person who gives that to yourself. You are the only validation because you are the only cause. So beingness is not a struggle. It's not an effort. It's innately you. It's all that you do all the time. You are persisting in being something. So whether it's going to be persisting in your fulfillment, persisting in knowing you already are that, knowing that there's no effort required, knowing that as soon as you say that it's done, and that's as complicated as it needs to be, then it's done. But if you're persisting in a version of yourself who is constantly striving, constantly trying, constantly having things not work out in their favor, and wondering what it's going to take in order to get you to that version, that's where your mistake is, because it doesn't take anything but the acknowledgement of it. There's no process that's gonna be a magic fix-all or cure-all to make you into a person who you aren't already. That's the fallacy in seeing things as separate from you, as not already being a part of that whole and complete consciousness that has all of those possibilities innately present. Being is a constant awareness, a constant acknowledgement, and a presence, a level of presence to see your inner thinking, to see your inner conversations, to see the way that you're feeling about the things in your reality and the stories and the meanings that you're placing on the things in your reality, and saying, is this in alignment with the person who I want to be? And if it's not, then it's not a how can I align myself to this version, but it's like, who is this version? Who do I say I am? So if I am this version, how am I thinking about this thing? How am I seeing this thing? How does this thing affect me? What meaning am I going to place on this? So if I'm saying I'm the version of myself who's loved by my partner, who's always chosen, who's always prioritized, who's always made to feel like they're worthy and they're valuable and they have a level of safety and security in their relationship, I'm not going to be the version of myself questioning why I didn't get a text back. If I'm persisting in being this version of myself, then there's no room for me to say, what is the affirmation that I need to say to make this person love me? Or how do I get them to show up differently? How do I see them differently? You see them the way you want to see them. You see yourself as the version of yourself that you want to be, and that's it. That's literally it. You say that things are the way that you want them to be. You see them being that way. You persist in saying it every single time. When something comes up to the contrary, when something negative pops up saying that things aren't this way, saying you can't be this person, saying you're not capable, saying, I mean, you're crazy, you're delusional, don't you see what's happening in your reality? You say, yeah, I see that, but these things aren't me. These things aren't things that I claim. These aren't things that I choose. So that has no effect on me. It has no say in who I get to be, on the things that I get to experience, and on what's going to happen next, because I already know what's going to happen next because I chose it. I'm already persisting in being the version of myself having that experience, so the experience must come. The only work in being is a continual returning. If you forget, it's to come back. It's to remind yourself every single time that you are still this person, that you are still deciding, that you still get to choose, that power never lays in any other hands but your own. Trying comes in when you feel like things can be taken from you, when you feel like things aren't already the way you want them to be, when you feel like there's a requirement for the fulfillment of your desires other than just you being. It's not true. Knowing who you are and knowing who you wish you could be, or who you want to be, or who you're striving to be, or even who you're becoming are different things. They imply different things. One implies that you already are, it already is, it's happened now, it's done now, and the other that, well, there's some wiggle room, like maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. I'm still trying, I'm still working towards it. I hope it'll happen. I'm working so that it will happen. Once I do this, it will happen, but it hasn't happened yet. But I don't see it yet, but there's no movement yet. And staying in a perpetual state of waiting, in a perpetual state of not happening yet, not being it yet, still trying to make it happen, can never make it happen. It happens once you make it happen. Decide that it already happened, I made it happen, it's done. Once you make that decision, once you recognize that there actually is nothing more for you to do except the things that you want to do, because you being the version of yourself already being that thing is just going to do the things that they do anyways and already have the thing be done and just be living life, then you understand that things get to be really simple. Things get to be really easy. There's not very many questions left to ask other than what feels good. What do I want to do? What does the version of myself knowing that I get to be this person now do? What do I like to do? What do I think about? How do I spend my time? How does it feel to have this thing already done, already taken care of? And what am I doing now? Now that I have all this free brain space, now that I don't have to do techniques on the hour, every hour, now that I don't have to be suffocating myself in my wish fulfilled. This is the last thing I'll say about it. A lot of people like to talk about how you need to saturate yourself in the wish fulfilled in order to feel natural about it. And I agree. I think that there's a level of naturalness that can be achieved through this understanding and through this recognition. Not something that necessarily has to be worked towards, but just understanding that it already is that way, so I can just let it be that way. I can just allow it to be that way instead of trying to make it that way. But if you're one of the people questioning, like I said before, how do I make a thing happen that I've never experienced before? How do I know? Well, maybe I just need to saturate myself in it. Maybe I just need to constantly be in techniques, constantly be reminding myself of what I'm desiring, of what I'm manifesting, of what my wish fulfilled is. I need to be on my manifestation game at all times. I don't feel like that's saturating yourself in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. I feel like that's suffocating yourself in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And to me, that doesn't actually feel very fulfilling. It feels like I'm trying to convince myself of something that I'm not already. It feels like I'm trying to convince myself of being something that I'm not. It feels like I'm telling myself that what I see is not valid and that I need to pretend to be something else in order to see it. Rather than just saying, I already am this person, recognizing that there's not a level of pretending, there's just a level of being, there's just a level of allowing, and I get to do that now. And then that gets to be all the effort required. I get to saturate myself in the beingness and the embodiment and the knowingness of it, because that's something that's natural when you are a thing. I already am saturated in the wish fulfilled because I am the wish fulfilled. It's me. I'm the one who makes it happen. I'm the one who chose. I'm the one who decided. So everything I do is in the saturation of that wish fulfilled. Everything I do is towards that end. So I can never not be saturated in my wish fulfilled when I've already acknowledged and I already know that I am that person. When I've already chosen the version of events that will unfold, I've already assumed myself to be the version of myself in that version of events. There's nothing more for me to do. If I want to think about how amazing my life is now that things are this way, or if I want to talk to other people in imagination about how things are already this way and about how wonderful it is to have this life and to be doing these things and how it feels so good, then I can do that. And I can do it from a place of knowing that things aren't dictated by that. It's not dictated by what I'm doing. It's not dictated by how hard I try. It's not dictated by my effort or by if I did things right or if I spent enough time on it, or I don't know, so many conditions you can make up as criteria or permission slips for yourself to allow yourself to just assume the beingness of it now. Or you could just say it's done. You could just say, yeah, I can see myself being that person. You know what? I am that person now already. I'm gonna live as that person already. I'm gonna just assume that because I've already acknowledged that I'm this person, that things are just gonna start unfolding in my reality to that end. That everything that comes up in my reality is going to reflect back to me, showing me that I'm already that person. And if you see things in your reality telling you an opposite story, what do? You see it for what it is. You accept it as a possibility, but not as the possibility that you choose. You choose to see it as an old version of events, not one that has anything to do with who you are now, and you choose to see it differently. You choose to see it from the perspective of the new you, knowing that that old story has nothing to do with me. I'm already the version of myself living this experience, so why would I be worried about that? Why would I be trying to make this thing go away when I'm already the version of myself who is in the reality where that thing doesn't exist? Or why would I be trying to make this thing come into being when I'm already the version of myself in the reality where this thing just is, where it's so natural to me, where it's so normal to me? That just is the person who I am. So what's this trying about? What's this efforting about? What's this forcing things to happen about? What's this, oh my God, I can't get it to work about? It's working because I'm working it. It's working because I'm the person who said that it's gonna work. I'm the person who says that it always gets to work for me because I'm the one who's choosing and I'm the only one who gets to decide. So as simple as it is, and as much as I do talk about it, I still get questions about it, which is why I continue to talk about it, and which is why I will be here to reiterate it to you over and over and over again, if that's the repetition that you need to let it sink into your skull and to accept the knowingness of the fact that it's just you being. Then that's what I'll do. I'll continue to remind you over and over again, as many times as you need. And that's what you should also do for yourself. It's a gentle reminder. It's not a forceful thing. It's not I have to make myself do this or convince myself of this, or I have to make myself believe this, even if it feels unbelievable. It can be a crazy thing. It can be absolutely illogical. It could be completely out of the realm of your understanding, but it could still be, because you're here. It's improbable that we're even here having this human existence, and that we know these things, and that we're doing these things, and that we're living this life, but it's still happening. We're still being it, we're still doing it, and you can still be, do, and have more things, anything that you can imagine, because your desires are pure, your desires are from your heart. They come from that internal acknowledgement that you already are. You wouldn't be able to desire it if you didn't already have the internal recognition that you were that thing, that it was possible, that you were capable of embodying that experience and living it out. So trust yourself to do that. Trust yourself that just who you are is enough. Your existence is enough. There's nothing that could make you more of the person who you already are. So when I say less trying, more being, I just mean return to self. I just mean return to the knowing that it's already done, that you already are that it's already complete, that you're already whole, that there's nothing to heal, that there's nothing to fix, there's nothing to question, nothing to worry about, there's no conditions, there's nothing. Just you and who you choose to be. And that's really it. It is that simple. And I'll continue to reiterate that it's that simple. Even when people get frustrated with me thinking that it's a limitation, or that I'm saying that techniques are bad, or that you shouldn't affirm, or that you shouldn't do sats, or that you shouldn't do anything. I'm never telling you that you shouldn't do or that you should do anything. All of this is just, a gentle suggestion, just an FYI. All that stuff is fine. Techniques are fine. Whatever you want to do to get into that state is fine. But just know that nothing is ever required of you except you. Everything that is required from you is already innately within you and can't be taken from you. It's always there. And whatever you want to do with that is for you to decide, but it never has to be a struggle. It never has to be hard. It never has to be forceful. So that's why you can have your manifestation without even trying. You can have your manifestation right now. And you do have your manifestation right now. Say it with me. I have my manifestation right now. So just in case you were wondering, just in case I haven't made it clear enough, that is what I mean when I say less trying and more being the best version of ourselves. And caveat, asterisk, side note on that, on the best version of yourself part, the best version of yourself is the version of yourself that you choose to be. It's the version of you right now. There's nothing outside, just like everything else. There's nothing outside of you, outside of who you are right now, outside of any experience or any process or any technique that's gonna make you more the best version of yourself. The best version of yourself is whoever you decide to be. It's whatever your fulfillment is, and nobody can tell you that's wrong. Nobody can tell you that you can't do that, or that's too good to be true, or that you should give up because that's illogical or doesn't make sense. It only needs to make sense to you. And so persist in that and let that be an easy thing. Let that just be your way of life. Let that be natural and normal to you just because it is, not because you forced it to be, not because you're trying to make it be, but just because it already is. Okay? All right, you guys, that's gonna do it for me today. I really hope you guys enjoyed and got something of value from this video. Please be sure to leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment box below, and check out the description for my social media links, services, all that good stuff is down below. Again, thank you to Ana Luisa for partnering with me on this video, and don't forget to check out the link in the description box to save up to 30% off on your jewelry. Other than that, I love you all so much. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.